Hey there, brothers and sisters. Vessel of Truth here once again. Jay from Virginia for the new people. Since I have done jumped off into the deep end for the day, I figured I would do a video that I've been thinking about quite a bit. And it's something that I've actually been talking to a few people about. And this is something that, in all honesty, it is a huge black stain on the garments of those who call themselves the children of Yahuwah. And for some reason, it doesn't get addressed very often, but it should, because it's a sin that the Father himself says he hates. And it is very detrimental, destroys lives and causes all kinds of problems, and it makes the enemy's job easy. And it could be looked at in several different ways. And what I'm basically talking about is gossip. Everybody's heard, the phrase "loose lips sink ships," and that's usually having to do with snitches and so on and so forth. But we're commanded not to be gossips, and most people attribute gossip with women. Well, I'm here to tell you, today, men are just as guilty, if not more so. And the Father hates it, because you can call it gossip, but the Father calls it sowing discord amongst the brethren. And let's just be honest. We all know someone that is a busybody. They're into everybody's business but their own. They've got everything down pat that everybody else is doing, but they can't run their own life. So they spend their life gossiping about everyone else. So let's just go to the Word. We'll start off here in Proverbs chapter 20, verse 19. It says, "He that goeth about as a talebearer revealeth secrets. Therefore meddle not with him that flattereth with his lips." Kind of straightforward, isn't it? A talebearer. Let's just go ahead and read a couple more scriptures before we really dive into it. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 6. Start here in verse 16. It says, "These 6 things does the Lord Yahuwah hate. Yea, 7 are abomination to him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood." Pretty straightforward. "A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that are swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord amongst the brethren." One of the biggest ways that mischief is sown amongst the brethren is through bearing false witness on people and gossip. And it's sad the way the four-wall indoctrination centers have portrayed things, because they've put it forth, that if you just call so-and-so and, you've heard about such and such from someone, that, there's some big juicy matter going on between someone else and in the congregation, then you can call people and tell them all about the situation so they can pray about it. Oh, I'm not wanting to be a gossip, but this is going on and we really need to pray. I'm sure some of you have even heard it. I'm sure some of you have even said it before. It's such an easy thing. But yet, in every day, I dare say one of the biggest things that we are confronted with is basically running your mouth, being a gossip. People do it in an innocent way because it's so prevalent and accepted. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. People talk too much today. That's one of the things that makes me weird. I'm quiet. My answers are usually direct. I could be in the same room and you'll never even know I'm there, because if I don't have anything to say, I don't talk. And, I have to, put myself in this category. I have, been in the middle of saying something, and then the Spirit of God will check me, because it's so easy to join in on a conversation that is going on, or if someone comes and asks you about something. We are so opinionated that, whenever they come and they ask you about Billy Bob Sujo, whatever, you've got an opinion. Or if they come and ask you about a situation you just saw, so-and-so do, you have to jump in on the bandwagon. And you know what? We shouldn't do that. It is such a simple thing, but it's one of the biggest downfalls of people. And the Father has a lot to say about it. And yes, I read, these out of the Old Testament for a reason, because it's one of the things that, are the 7 things that the Father hates. Sowing discord amongst the brethren. I've seen it happen to where it actually makes a whole 4-wall indoctrination center split. I've seen it, cause fights right there in the middle of the 4-wall indoctrination center. If the enemy can get us to destroy ourselves, he's just sitting back there eating peanuts and laughing. He doesn't even have to do anything. That's why I'm saying, like I said in my last video, the Father is calling us back to holiness. We are to be holy as He is holy. We are to walk as Christ walked this earth. If you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say anything. And we've all been guilty of it. I know I have. And, it's one of the things that I am crucifying out of my flesh. I don't want to join in on, gossip and talking about this one or that one, or even giving my opinion when, my opinion don't matter. The only opinion that matters is the Father's. But we are so opinionated. You figure you have a whole business that's founded upon gossip, Facebook and Twitter and all these other media platforms. No longer do people want to listen. We all want to be able to grab a microphone and tell the world about what we think, like we're so important. And it's one of the things that about my channel that's different. I don't have anything myself to say. Every once in a while, I will tell you, hey, I think, and give my opinion or my viewpoint on something. But for the most part, everything I've got to say is backed up scripturally. Because it's the Father's viewpoint and His way is what matters. Doesn't matter what we think. Doesn't matter how we see this or we see that. The truth is the truth. And I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. It doesn't matter what color skin you are. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what language you speak. The Father's truth is the same for all of us. But yet, people get off on putting other people down because it makes them feel better about themselves. When really, you're just destroying yourself before the Father. Every idle word we will give an account for on Judgment Day. How many people have you ripped down? How many people have you murdered with your lips? This is a huge issue. And there are warnings all through the Word. A lot of people would rather, stick to New Testament. So, let's go to Ephesians 4, verse 29. It says, "Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers." How many times have you seen a conversation end that way? Very few and far between, if ever, huh? And I could go and talk about this matter for hours. But I'm counting on the Spirit of Yahuwah to convict each and every one of us that's watching this video, that's hearing my voice. This is the truth of Yahuwah's word. We all like to talk about, how we want more like-minded people around us, brothers and sisters we can talk to, and so on and so forth. But I've seen it time and time again. I've actually walked away from it several times. That, these people finally get to know each other, and then all of a sudden one or the other will do something or say something or believe a different way than what these other people do. And automatically the talebearing starts. Gossiping, backbiting, sowing discord amongst the brethren, trying to get everybody on your side or their side or whatever. And it's just a big free-for-all. And the enemy is sitting back laughing. He never even had to lift a finger, because we destroy ourselves. And it's like, this has been going on, I dare say, from the flood forward. And it's like, what is it going to take for us to learn? We have the Word of Yahuwah that warns us about this. We know how the enemy works. You know, we're commanded to not be ignorant of his devices, his tactics, his ways. But it just takes someone coming in and asking you your thoughts, your views about someone else, or them coming to tell you about what so-and-so did. It's none of our business what other people do, what other people say. And you know, we should be ashamed to ever speak anything but praises of other people. You know, there's plenty of people on this realm ripping other people down. But you know what? There is a huge shortage of people that will build other people up. How hard is it for you to say, hey man, great job. You really did good on whatever. You know, a kind word goes further than you think. It may make someone's day. It might be the only light that they actually have. You know, the Father is calling us back to holiness. You know, the bar has been set when He give us His law. Mankind just wants to move that bar lower and lower and lower. Or to make people think that you don't even have to worry about the bar because we're a shoo-in because Christ did it for us. We don't have to do anything but believe now. And that's a lie from the pits of hell. You know, it's just crazy. You know, the common sense things that people fall for. And you know, one more scripture, because really, I didn't even think about this one. This really says it all. And that's James chapter 3, I think it's verse 8. Yeah. Let's just read this. Now let's start with verse 7. It says, for every kind of beast and of bird and of serpents and of things in the sea is tamed, and hath been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. Therewith bless we Yahuwah, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude or the image of Yahuwah. Out of the same mouth proceeds blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Does a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? or a vine figs? So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh? Tell me if this doesn't apply to you, and I will call you a liar. Because Scripture testifies against us all. You know, the Word tells us in verse 8, but the tongue can no man tame. No man has tamed their tongue. That's why the Father says we are to serve Him in spirit and in truth. See, if we don't serve Him spiritually, then we have to wrestle with our flesh. And you know, the flesh is the breeding ground of sin. That's why, you know, whenever you sit down to pray, for some people it takes a long time to pray through to the Father before He shows up and His presence fills the room, because your flesh isn't dead. The flesh will never, ever be in the same place as the presence of the Father. That's why no flesh can ever be around the Father. They're not compatible. It's like trying to put light and darkness together. They cannot cohabitate together. But this simple gossiping and sowing discord amongst the brethren is such a huge, huge issue. Yet, most people don't even see it, because they've got so accustomed to talking about everyone, telling secrets on people. You know, you saw so-and-so at the liquor store. Who cares? Or you saw so-and-so drinking a beer. Who cares? Or so-and-so cussed the other day. Or so-and-so did this or did that or didn't do this or didn't do that. Who cares? What's it to you? Are you going to be judged for what they did or what they didn't do? No. But you will be judged on gossiping about them and sowing discord because of them. You know, people are cutting their own throat to make themselves look good in this world. And you know what? This world is going to burn, and everything in it. And you know what? You will burn if you don't repent and start walking according to the way the Father commands us to walk. You know, it's amazing. You have these people that, you know, that they want to get into the huge, the deep, 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 deep things of the Father. But yet, it's not the deep things that are destroying people. It's these little simple things. You know, murdering people with your words, bearing false witness against people, stirring up strife amongst the brethren, gossiping about people. You know it's wrong, but yet Almost everybody does it. And I'm here to tell you that if you are in the number where the masses are doing everything you're doing, check yourself. Because the Word of Yahuwah shows that the masses have never been right. It's always been the remnant few. And I don't know about you. In the day and age that we live in, I want to make sure I'm doing everything right, especially the easy things. Food for thought, my brothers and sisters. Yeah, we can move on and we can talk about, prophecies and, the end times and all this, but if you haven't mastered the milk of the Word, just controlling yourself, what business do you have trying to go to the deeper things of the Father? You're wasting your time. We have to walk as Christ walked before we can go deeper. We've got to rule ourselves in total self-control. We've got to be spiritually minded and not fulfill the lusts of the flesh. If you're still struggling with all the things of the flesh, you're really going to be hurting whenever you actually have to deal with spiritual warfare, whenever you've finally made it to the point to where the enemy has to get involved to try and trip you up. We all have strengths and weaknesses. But this one just ought not be. You don't want people talking about you. Why would you do it about other people? It's so simple. If we love our neighbor as ourselves and we treat them as we want to be treated, you'll not fulfill the lusts and the evils of the flesh. You'll not sow discord amongst the brethren. You'll not gossip about them. It's the same for us all, my brothers and sisters. It's time that we really be about doing the things of the Father. By us walking according to His law, His precepts, His commandments, we show Him that we love Him. And we also show our brothers and our sisters that we love them. Kind of one of them oh me lessons. But it needs to be heard, because I dare say every last one of us can improve. So, I'll leave it there. I pray that you think about it. I pray that you would really examine yourself in this regard. It's a real fact that, it's these simple things that's really tripping people up. Because we think we're so much better than that, and we're not. Don't be afraid, to tell your brother and sister, if you hear them gossiping, tell them to shut their mouth. And then tell them why. They're not going to argue with you whenever you actually tell them, you're gossiping. Nobody wants to be called out as a gossip or a busybody or someone that's sowing strife amongst the brethren. None of us wants that. Just goes to show you right is right and wrong is wrong. So, think about it. As always, keep praying for one another, seeking the face of the Father, and pushing forward, fighting the good fight of faith. Pray always, and try to walk in the Spirit and be spiritually minded, serving the Father in spirit and in truth, always. Until next time, Yahuwah bless you and keep you always.